Itoshi Rin is one of the coldest characters in all of Blue Lock. His whole existence is basically an I'm him moment, and he's possibly the best striker and player in the Blue Lock facility. And personality-wise, he's probably the most complex in the series. In this video, we're going to be discussing Rin's abilities as well as his character. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy. And as promised, here is the Rin video since you all hit 150 likes on the real video. So let's try to get this video to 150 likes as well for Itoshi Sai video, Rin's brother. You can let me know in the comment if you have any opinions, criticism or suggestions for future videos. But without wasting any more of your time, let's get into this. So first, let's talk about his abilities. I would say that Itoshi Rin has two main abilities. The first one being the puppeteer, which basically gives him the ability to control everybody on the field. With the use of his eyes, special awareness as well as movement, he is able to manipulate everybody on the field, teammates as well as opponents. This ability alone was a lot of trouble for Isagi's team because they had to worry about how to get out of his predictions, and which was close to impossible. His second main ability is his perfect kick accuracy, basically having such a crazy accuracy that he's able to score from anywhere, whether it is from a bad angle or in front of a good defender. He can always chip or curve the ball in the perfect way to allow him to score. Like for example, his goal against the Japan U20 in front of Aiku with a crazy outside spin. His off-ball movement also makes him a threat for the opposite team, being able to always position himself in the perfect way while using other people, basically to ensure that he can score or that his team can score. Rin is also one of the only players in Blue Lock to reach floor. He was the player with the highest amount of goals in all of Blue Lock, with an average of 2.5 goals a game, while Shidou, being number 2, only had an average of 2. But on top of being the best striker in the facility, he also has the ability to connect with everyone and create chemical reaction with them. But what makes him even more special is that most of his chemical reactions aren't like the others. While a normal chemical reaction consists of using your abilities together in a way that makes them even better, Rin simply uses your ability for his own good, basically being the one to control everything. Shidou Ryusei being the only exception to that rule. He is also a very versatile player. On top of just being a good striker, he is also a good defender and a good passer. And he's not bad either when it comes to dribbling. But now we need to talk about his character. Rin does not see football in the same way as everybody else. Instead of being for fun or being a dream, for him football is more of a tool of destruction. For him, a football field is a battlefield. And while some people may find that corny about his character, there is another half that absolutely loves this part of him. But in my opinion, Rin is a very understandable character. While a lot of people think he's doing too much, the best way to say this is that everyone has different problems. There are other things that will usually annoy somebody that wouldn't annoy Rin, for example. Everybody has different opinions, different struggles, different ideas. And Rin is simply his football dream that was destroyed by his brother. Rin used to have a perfect relationship with his brother. While Sai was doing great on the field, Rin and his parents were supporting him from the side. Rin learned from Sai that he always had to focus on his goals. Sai's goal was to become the best striker in the world, and Rin quickly understood how serious he was about that. His dream was to become like his older brother. Eventually, they started playing together and became an invincible striker duo. But then Sai went to Spain and made a promise to Rin. He told him that he will play for Real Madrid's youth team and become the best striker in the world. And while Rin can stay behind and become the best striker in Japan, and then eventually catch up to him and become an invincible striker duo once again. After saying goodbye to his brother, Rin started dominating everybody on the field, getting better and better and making a name for himself. After 4 years, his brother finally came back, but he didn't have the same look on his face. He looked completely depressed and it was almost like he lost hope. He then announces to Rin that he gave up on their promise and ended up becoming a midfielder, telling him that his new goal will be to become the best midfielder in the world while Rin can still focus on being the best striker. Rin felt betrayed because of how hard he worked all those 4 years for that specific dream. He didn't want to disappoint his brother when he comes back, so he worked hard to be able to fulfill that promise. But instead, Sai didn't hold his end of the bargain, resulting in Rin feeling like he was lied to. Sai then proceeded to destroy him in a 1v1 to prove to him that life was not that simple. Rin starts thinking that he lost his motivation to play and he might even quit, but Sai doesn't even care. He actually finds it disgusting and cuts his tie with his brother. Ever since that day, Rin hated his brother, and he still wants to get his revenge on him. One half of the community thinks that this is the best backstory in the series, but the other half simply thinks that he's doing too much. And while it might be fair to say that he's doing a bit too much, I think his hatred is kind of justified. Rin basically got his childhood dream destroyed. He basically got the future that he imagined and worked for destroyed. And he wasn't destroyed by some unknown circumstances, but destroyed by his brother that had a promise with him. Destroyed by the person he trusted the most. Destroyed by the person for who he wanted to accomplish that dream. But if betraying him wasn't enough, he even insulted him, blamed him for it, blamed him for his weakness, and cut ties with him. Basically leaving Rin with nothing. Everything he worked so hard to build was shattered. A lot of stories do not look that serious when you think in third person. Like, of course, being a grown man, you're not going to understand a kid crying over football. But when you try to put this into perspective and see yourself in that situation, it all of a sudden makes way more sense. But after explaining all this, I just want to say that this is not one of my favorite backstories. But I still believe that the writing was good and that it makes a lot of sense. But there's another thing that I noticed. Rin doesn't completely hate Saya. I think so because of the response he gave Isagi when he asked him about him and his brother, saying that there was no problem and that the relationship is somehow healthy and will fix itself whenever he beats him. This says a little bit about Rin's goal, because that would mean that his end goal will be to beat Sai and reunite with him. There's also the way he talks to him before and during the Ryusei game, basically telling him that he was a bad big brother because he didn't even check up on him. Rin doesn't only have hatred in his heart, he still has some love for his brother. The final proof of that is after the U20 game. Right after he managed to beat his brother in the 1v1 and allowed Isagi to score a goal, Sai talks to him about the event, and until he mentioned Isagi's name, Rin was ready to receive a compliment. You could see no hatred on his face, it looked like he still looked up to his brother, which quickly turned into rage after he mentioned Isagi's name. And this is why I want to talk about Rin's growth as a character and as a person. Towards the end of the U20 game, Rin started going berserk, but it wasn't because he was mad at anybody. It's because he was mad at himself. He realized that maybe it wasn't Sai's fault that they split up. He remembered the word that his brother told him to not use him as a motivation ever again. He realized that he was asking for answers from other people instead of himself. He then instantly went berserk and started doing things on his own and even ended up saving his team. And that moment of Rin destroying everything and even taking the ball from Sai at the end proves how big Rin's potential is. And even though he was already the best, he felt like he was lackluster because he needed other people's help. But once he entered floor, he started getting all of the answers he needed. And even that scene in the locker room after the game, telling Isagi that he was his rival with his demons in the back. It tells us that not only Isagi fully earned Rin's respect, people may say that he earned it after the second selection, but it is not the case. At first, Rin saw Isagi as just another insect, but very quick when Isagi started matching his vision, Rin started respecting him a little bit. But he still thought Isagi was beneath him. He even told him, "You will watch me become the best striker in the world." Or even after Isagi's goal during the third selection, Rin was completely mad at him. He did not see him as an equal, but after this game, Rin clearly sees Isagi as an equal and wants to destroy him for real this time. Isagi now presents a real obstacle in his life. But that scene also showed us that Rin wanted props from Sai, and even though the game was over, Sai simply complimenting Isagi awakened Rin's demon once again, proving once more that he doesn't hate him. We then have a scene during the holiday of Blue Lock. In chapter 52, we see Rin and he's way more calm than he was the last time we saw him, thinking about everything that happened and trying to figure out what that state of his was, because even he doesn't understand what he was doing during that game, and the fact that even though he beat Sai in that last moment, it's still Isagi that got the spotlight. He ended up telling himself that he needs to be reborn, he needs to become something new that can destroy both Isagi and Sai. This shows us that he already got a change in his mindset, but he needs to make concrete things happen. He now wants something physical, something way bigger and better that will allow him to impact his game and success. Let me know in the comment what you think about Rin's character and growth. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, but only if you enjoyed. And let's try to get this video to 150 likes for Itoshi Sai video. Let me know if you have any criticism or character suggestions for future videos, and I will see you next time. Peace.